So when you come up to Allegheny National Forest, up here just north of Marienville on Route 66, there's this wonderful new center. I guess you'd call it like a forest information center. Warren, Pennsylvania, and there's another place. I think it's Bradford has one of these places. This one's the newest one, but inside you can find a bunch of interesting stuff. It's almost like a mini museum with all kind of murals and stuffed animals, and the people in there are really knowledgeable and got me the maps I need here for my hike. So I'm going to head a little bit north and try to find the next section north of Kellettville, and you can find these guys. So I'm here in this town of Mayberg, and I'm trying to get to a section of the North Country Trail over here so I can kind of backtrack a little, because last time I started here in Kellettville and got somewhere here. I'm going to get the next access point north. So off in the distance, at least you could see a few minutes ago, there was a lot of turkeys, but I guess they've since moved on. And there's a road, I believe that's Route 666. The most evil sounding road in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And as you'll see, 666 connects to its friend Route 6 up here. And if you go down there, it connects to its other friend, 66. So it's possible to take Route 666 to, or what is it? Take Route 6 to 66 to 666 in Pennsylvania, and then probably find your way back onto 66 some other way. Kind of would like to say I'm on the Devil's Highway, but actually this is known as the Howard Zahniser Highway, I think named after a politician, environmentalist guy that lived in the 60s, and I think in 1964 was one of the guys that helped create the wilderness bill for national wilderness areas. It's kind of interesting the effects that that's had on other parts of the country, but here in Pennsylvania we have like maybe one or two wilderness areas, and the one that's nearby consists of a few islands in the Allegheny River. And the total for the whole state is probably less than 2 square miles. So there's a lot of wilderness-like areas, and we even have state wild areas, but not a lot of wilderness in Pennsylvania. But the Wilderness Bill and the Wilderness Act and National Wilderness Areas kind of sprung out of Pennsylvania in its early conception. Never mind, I'm not actually on Route 666. I'm probably on like State Route 1003 or something like that. I was on Route 666, but every time I come up here and look for the North Country Trail, it seems nearby, and I spend an hour or more looking for it. But I'm trying to knock off different sections in the state sequentially, and hopefully once I get these last little bits up north of Kellettville done, it will be a little easier to find the access points. Never mind, this actually is Route 666. So I finally arrived in Kellettville, which is the place that usually takes me about 2 hours to find every time I come up here. It's ridiculous. And this time it just happens that Kellettville's about 6 miles from where I really want to be, so now I gotta figure out how to get out of Kellettville, but at least I'm getting close to where I want to be. So I've now made it down to Kellettville, and I'm still going a little ways. This is Tionesta Creek. I shouldn't be far from one of these other access points, hopefully. It's going to be on the left if there is one, and I'm not sure if this road is the road that's going to take me there. Okay, so this is the North Country Trail. This is a section that I hiked probably last year or way earlier in the year, and I'm just going to start following these roads north because I think it's going to get me. And so I'm now at the intersection somewhere with Forest Road 159. What I'm going to end up having to do, I think, is work my way up to this area because I want to start at an actual official parking area. I think I won't really know where I am relative to anything else. I probably hiked here the last time. Now this road here is 159. So this is 159A actually, which makes me think it's not even 159, but you can see that the roads are down to one very poorly maintained, single track road. Definitely in the National Forest. It kind of reminds me of the old mining roads out by Wilkes-Barre I went to a few weeks ago. So that looks more like some random hiking trails, and I don't even want to try to drive back there. Probably have more fun hiking there if nothing else. Alright, it's now 5:25. I've spent literally 3 hours trying to find where I'm going, and I was about ready to go back to the Minister Creek Trailhead, and then I found Route 116, which is the forest road that I was trying to find for the last 2 hours. So it's just really frustrating. So if I'm lucky today, at the very least, I'm going to work out where this trailhead is and remember a much more efficient way to get to it, so that the next time I get right to it. But if I can get to the place that's the next trailhead north of Kellettville, I don't think I'll have any problem hiking the trail. I was considering going from Minister Creek past that trailhead to another point, but that just seems like too much as the daylight is diminished, and silly me, I should have just stopped at Minister Creek and started hiking. But I'm trying to find something, and it's the sort of person I get really frustrated if I come up here and don't find it, and I end up driving like 50, 60, 70 extra miles sometimes just looking for these places. But in the end, it's worth it. It's the places that aren't easy to find that are the best sometimes. They got their little secrets and stories to tell. So here we go, up Route 116, Allegheny National Forest. October 13th, 2018. Today is a Saturday. The fall colors, depending on where you are up here, are either at peak or a little bit past peak. Some of them are a little bit behind peak. Now down in the southern part of the state, our colors are nowhere near peak, but the temperatures just got cold. Yesterday, we'd been hanging out in the 80s with like 70 at night, literally up until October 9th or 10th. And today the high's in the 40s up here. I think I saw 47 degrees. Now it's down to 45. There's some rain. Places in Pennsylvania are expected to get snow probably tonight, tomorrow, I don't know. It's definitely coming. It's like we went from summer into late fall all in one fell swoop. We didn't really have a lot of days where it would stay like in the upper 40s at night and 70 or anything like that. That just didn't happen. Maybe 2 days were like that in August and September, and that was it. It was summer all the way up until like this past week. So it's now 5:38. It probably gets dark in 45 minutes, but I have literally just now, after 3.5 hours of driving, reached the North Country Trail at the point where I want to find it, where Route 116 and 119, that's Forest Route 116 and 119, come together. Here is a nice trail post, and the section I want to do is probably going back south. I don't have to go very far if I'm right to get to where I left off the last time. Hopefully I'll recognize it and I won't go too far. But I'll be happy if I can do that. In retrospect, I should have stopped at Beaver Meadows and hiked the 5.9 miles of trail there, because I'd probably be done on the way home and got a lot more hiking in, but maybe next time. So this is where we are, right here. So across this road, which is probably a state road, let's see what's coming. In my pocket, since it's that time of year, I have bags of crab apples. In my backpack I have Gatorade, some water, and a headlamp. I'm hoping to not be out here much more than maybe an hour at this point. Trying to adjust it. Just trying to do the pro mode, but the lighting is off and I don't want to screw with it. 116. Okay, that zoomed it in. Okay, that's here, and it's like, where is it going? So there's a sign here that says Chapman State Park is up here. But where is the North Country Trail? Route 1, this is a snowmobile thing. It's just frustrating. Search forever to find the trailhead, and then it's just kind of like, where is it? So in my ambition to get going, there's a connector trail, The North Country Trail is right here, and it actually crosses somewhere else. That's why these videos are getting farther and fewer between. I can barely figure out where I'm going myself, let alone try to hold a camera, which is actually a phone, which makes it even harder. Still don't see any blazes or anything that would indicate to me that this is a connector trail. It's just some random stuff going through the woods. It's like, probably by the time I see the first blue blaze, I'll have to turn back. I'm sure this footage will get worked into something. Probably not anytime soon. It might actually get worked in with the actual hike, if there must be another one. Heaven forbid, like that hasn't happened before. Big ambitions in solo actually happened, unlike a few weeks ago when I was in Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, and I managed to accomplish quite a bit more than I thought humanly possible in a day, and kind of go on 2 hikes and a bike ride and still drive 5 miles home in the same day. Get about one of those days a year usually. Even the day where I spent 2 hours on the phone arguing with the bank, it's just the kind of crazy stuff that happens. There was still plenty of time to check out some trails that probably weren't even trails. They were just these random old roads, and that was kind of neat. Those kind of things I definitely want to do in the middle of the day, because you really get lost in the night. Watch there be another parking area that's closer to where it should be. What's this? Now there's a blue dot. See that? Could that be the North Country Trail? Somebody's driving like a maniac across the North Country Trail. Now I'm down to like 43 degrees. It's probably gonna for sure hit freezing, I guess, tonight. Might get the first frost up here. Just figured what a great day to come up here too, right? When it's like gets really cold in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of like, oh, I bet I can max that out. Head way up north, and it'll be even colder. Plus, at least I'll get to see some leaves turning color, because they're gonna be done here by the time they're done further south. I think this here might be the North Country Trail. Let's see. It's at least a 5-minute hike to the North Country Trail. This is going south, it's 5:56, that's going north. I'm going to cross the road, head south. I don't care if I come back in the dark, hopefully there'll be enough daylight to get where I haven't been. North Country Trail. It's right here. I'm not sure if I have the record for the most North Country Trail videos. Not that any of them are particularly compelling, but I'm hiking along a lot. It's just some fun thing I like to do. Creek. See, it's marked with white, which seems odd because that's in New York. Places are usually white because of the FLT. I don't know why they're white here. Yeah, I'm probably hiking on another trail, thinking I'm on one trail and on another one. It won't be the first time that's happened. Go back and take a look at my Blackwater Falls film from July. I think it got posted in August of 2018. This may not go up until 2020 for all I know. Yeah, it is the North Country Trail. There's no place I'd rather be than on the North Country Trail. Hiking on the NCT, I feel so wild and free. That's some kind of thing that's killing the tree. It's like totally blue. Someone dropped a diamond-shaped blaze. Yeah. I'm gonna find out why I'm such a confused person this week. Go to a specialist and get myself worked up, but yeah, hopefully I won't get lost as much going forward. It's a little too early to be seen. I'm only 38. Get a little more senile, I just won't care, and then maybe it'll just be funny, but at this point it's kind of disturbing. I miss having the GoPro camera with the wide angle, and just did better photography in the woods. You can't really see sort of the magnitude of how big the trees are and kind of take it all in. Although this kind of zoomed in perspective is good for certain things, yeah, the other way was better for most things. I don't think I'll ever be a portrait photographer, a person that takes pictures of people. That just feels too weird to me. Except for those rare occasions where I'm hiking and some random tourist is like, "Can you take my picture?" I'm like, heck yeah, I'll always do that. So I've been a member of the Pennsylvania North Country Trail Group since 2011, and I kind of consider myself just general statewide because I do things with all the different sections and check out parts and do things in other states nearby. I'm always alternating between Clarion and Butler as my main section, but lately I've been really liking the chances I get up to the National Forest because it's the only bit left in Pennsylvania for me to do, and I'll be done with the whole state. It's taken many years. I probably got 60 miles to go. Anyway, you don't got 60 miles to go. Maybe it just ends here. Although it shouldn't. Excuse me for my poor English. Where in the heck do we go? Actually, there's no excuse for poor English. Here it goes. Don't go across that bridge, people. It is not good. It looks slippery. It is the slipperiest thing. It's like a bunch of banana peels on ice. Almost fell. Hurt my foot. It's not as bad as the unfortunate incident at Dead Crow Bridge a few years ago, but yeah, don't go on that bridge. I mean, unless it's 90 degrees and you can see that it's totally dry. You need to maybe consider putting some little metal grates on there. I'd like to help you guys out and stuff, but the least I can do is maybe look for some problem areas, and if someone sees that, you know, you might want to think about that. Don't want to have a pile of dead hikers there. I participated in one of the trail work things back in 2011, but yeah, I'm not really as much into that as hiking and just exploring, although a good combination of the two would be alright. Some trail work, some hiking. At the time of this recording, I'm up to 993 posted videos. About 2/3 of them were made in 2016. Maybe another 200 or so last year, and the rest in 2018. And it keeps getting slower and slower due to less and less time, and YouTube video editor was the old way. It was so easy. Now I use a fancier video editor. I'm thinking the videos are better, but the results haven't really proven out that they are, but it takes a lot longer. Darn it if some of this isn't starting to look vaguely familiar. Yeah, I may have actually hiked up this ridge, and I just finally gave up the last time because I've been hiking forever. I can't remember. There must have been a storm coming or something. Excuse me, my nose gets very stuffed up when it gets to be like 43 degrees and damp. It's the first day of the year it's really been like that, so I have to remember to use some Sudafed next time. Allegheny River is 8 miles, so that's neat. That's up on Minister Creek Trail, I think, up there. You'll like the Allegheny River. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's just, the whole northern part of it's just kind of wild. It's only from Pittsburgh to northern Armstrong County, I guess Reimer or something, East Brady. There's locks and dams, so recreational boats can go through, and then the rest of it is pretty much just mostly wild and scenic and free-flowing. There's a dam up at Kinzoo, and then the New York section is a big lake, Forest Road 119. Look at that. We're on the Tanbark Trail. I didn't know that. Tanbark Trail. It's funny, I was just at a tannery a few weeks ago. There was a sign here. The song just made that trail just makes me think. You know you're riding on the Marrakech Express. They're taking me to Marrakech. And I can tell you that the gas station I stopped at in Marienville looked like it was run by someone that just came from Marrakech. I think that's in India, but anyway, someone from there. Minister Valley, 4 miles. Gosh, why do I not remember this? I probably got more than 4 miles that I've never done before. Away in my beautiful The Galaxy S9S is ready. Are you? I think actually the week I bought this, like 2 days later, they come out with a 10 or something. I'm not crazy about things. It's just when my phone breaks down enough times that I've used the insurance to replace it enough times that they won't replace it anymore. That's when I get a new phone. So I had a, previous to this, a Droid Turbo. Previous to that, my work gave me like an iPhone 4 or 6 or something. Before that, I didn't even use the smartphone. It had been dropped and broken so many times, and eventually I used like 3 insurance reimbursement claims in a year, and they're just like, you can't get insurance on this phone anymore. So I literally used that thing until it was so cracked up it just straight up didn't work, wouldn't turn on or whatever, and then I was kind of forced to get this phone. Okay, I'm really getting beat up today. This is not my lucky day. Sometimes maybe you just shouldn't be in the forest. Oh well, I'm going to go a little further and turn around. Got a banged up toe, a scratched knee. Become very good at the art of carrying on long monologues with myself, whether you're on camera or not. But here you see an interesting feature. This is a sinkhole. Now, sinkholes aren't really a natural thing that happens around here, but I think there's a pipe under there, so there could have been some sort of void or mining or something, and that just collapsed. Tomorrow, I'm trying to remember, this weekend will be really nice because Steve Smith, my good friend and engineer, he always finds all the structural things and points them out, and he's just a good hike leader. He's doing another hike. I did the hike that was set up probably more by Dave Galbraith, I guess, who is now the president of the Clarion North Country Trail Association. I say it's about time. No, but Ed Scurry and Dave are amazing. But yeah, Ed Scurry was the previous president, and he did so much. I was like, he's going to be the president until he dies. I mean, he was there for a long time. But Dave was always like his right-hand man, so it's good to see Dave is the president. But we hiked Amsler Springs, Route 66 to Amsler Springs and back. We noticed that the floating bridge over the Beaver Dam right when you go north of 66 is a little bit desperately in need of repair, to say the least. It's kind of half tilted to the side, and what I'm told is I guess a spring broke on the that, and I guess that's maintained by the Baker Trail and Clarion and maybe the National Forest. It's sort of like a cooperative effort. But eventually that'll get fixed, maybe next year, who knows. If I live closer, I'd help out. We noticed another beaver dam a little bit closer to Amsler Springs, and what Amsler Springs was, where we finished, was a camp out, I don't know what you'd call it, a hiker hostel. Oh dear. One of those buildings, one of those shelters that they put on the North Country Trail. It was the next one north of Maple Creek, the first one in Allegheny National Forest, heading north. It was pretty nice. The cookout, they always bring hot dogs, so there was not a lot of people this time. So there was hot dogs and chili and hot chocolate and some chips and crab apples that nobody ate. But since Steve was there, I said, Steve, here's your gift of crab apples for, being a good hike leader and friend and all that. And I know I can get more of them real easy because they grow close to my house. Not too many people like them. I was eating the wild ones because I'm still finding those, and they have a funky sort of different taste than the bigger ones. They all got so much character. It's like, wow, yeah, apples that don't taste anything like apples for sure. Little ones just taste like poison. But the large ones, 1 to 2 inch crab apples, don't matter what color they are. Usually they're orange or yellow or red. They got all kind of different neat flavors, and the inside could be yellow, orange, peach colored, red. It could taste like spiced apple. Some people told me that they used to make spiced apples from the crab apples that kind of come out late in the fall, and I'm like thinking, wow, I can't imagine what that would be like, because I'm like, the spice is already in there. I mean, they come out tasting like Lucky Leaf apples. When you grab them on the tree, they come in big bunches. They look like cherries a lot of times, and I think that's why people pass them up, and then they get a lot of apple rot or whatever, black apple spores, kind of like a mildew thing that grows on them. If you wash them off and like rub them with a towel real good, you can get it off, put them in the freezer. The wild crab apples should keep for at least a few weeks, and if you're lucky enough to have a parking lot where they've just planted a whole bunch of wonderful decorative ornamental crabapple trees that grow the 1 to 1.5 inch bright red fruits. They seem to be pest resistant, and I don't know if that's because it's genetically modified, which maybe is a bad thing, maybe not, I don't know. Or maybe they've sprayed it, which I'm sure might not be so good. So you might want to wash those a little more, but they do keep a lot longer in the refrigerator, maybe even a month or two. Tanbark Trail, okay, and the North Country Trail continues here. So that part of the North Country Trail was the Tanbark Trail, so I got an extra trail as part of a longer trail. I'm not going to finish the North Country Trail today because the North Country Trail is 4,600 miles long from somewhere in the middle of South Dakota all the way to Vermont at this point, I believe. And I do think I've been here before, but since there's a little more time, I'm going to go a little further. FR 116 Minister Road. Hopefully I'll remember to cut that out. I usually make some sort of disgusting noise right at the beginning, and yeah, if I get half of them on, it'll greatly improve the quality, and that's one thing I don't like about myself, but oh well, what can you do? It's starting to get sunset now. There's kind of a peachy color in the sky, sort of a peachy sunset. I suspect the sun's already down, or probably right at the horizon. 6:18, getting close at least, because the sunset maybe at 6:45 or something down in Allegheny County in the Pittsburgh area where I live, and this is quite a ways north and east, and at this time of the year the days get shorter as you go north and the nights come sooner as you go east. Here's the official North Country Trail thing. Now, in the event that today had been a warmer day, I actually had one of those stickers, which is actually almost the size as that thing on that sign, and one of the North Country Trail tattoos from the 2013 North Country Trail Fest and Conference, which, as far as I know, is the last official gathering of the North Country Trail that actually had the word conference in it, because some things changed then. But yeah, I helped with my friend Joyce Appel down there to lead a lot of events, and she just organized them. I mean, she's just a phenomenal organizer, pretty much a full-time job in her retirement. FR 449, that's quite a ways back, and as usual, I will sign the hiker book. Must. Alright, so mostly because I'm not going to be hiking very much further, I wrote a longer blog today than normal. October 13th, 2018, Mike Ciccone was here, Wexford, PA. I started about 1 mile north and followed the Tanbark Trail. It is 43 degrees, mostly cloudy at sundown. I hiked from Route 66 Amsler Springs earlier in the day and was among the people eating at the Amsler Springs North Country Trail shelter today. Today the temperature is about 1/2 of what it was just 2 or 3 days ago. There was no early fall this year, just an extra month of summer and straight to mid-fall. The leaves are near peak brilliance. I have many videos of the North Country Trail throughout Pennsylvania and a little of New York. Basically, it is just me hiking and occasionally narrating or talking to myself/camera about whatever comes to mind. Tonight is being filmed, but it will be short and may take a while to go up. No, the bridge on the Tanbark Trail is dangerous when wet and leaf-colored like banana peels on wet ice. It is best to walk around the bridge. Also, the floating bridge at Route 66, just north of Route 66, can use a little tender, loving care as it passes near the Beaver Dam. And yeah, if I lived in the area, I'd be glad to help you guys out with it. But I know the North Country Trail people across Pennsylvania and everywhere, they're great people, and they'll probably have that fixed when time or money or whatever allows, and try to do some trail work here and there. Not as much as I'd like, but good for them for keeping this going. Okay. Alright, so that hiker vlog post writing, whatever, was a little bit longer than normal. I guess it may not technically be a blog as it exists in the book, but when I read it and put it on the video and post it, then it becomes a blog. But I'm like hiker blogs, hiker book, hiker blog. Come up with some cute words that describe those things, because they're everywhere. In some places they're required and you gotta sign them, and like, I don't know, search and rescue will come looking for you if you don't sign it out. But I think the ones on the North Country Trail in Pennsylvania are mostly for people to say they were there and, I don't know, write about whatever interesting things they saw. I always wonder if someone comes by at some point, like an archivist or something, and, I don't know, photographs and posts those or archives those or takes them away when they get filled up. And what happens to those hiker books as they collect thousands and thousands of signatures over the years, and kind of the history of a place or a trail sort of written in short little, I guess you call anecdotes. It would be kind of neat to actually see it all compiled somewhere. There's got to be someone that does that somewhere. If not, that would be kind of interesting. But yeah, I'd have to find a way to make it pay the bills. I did bring a headlamp with me. Oh, I put my headlamp. Oh well. It's probably in the camera pack. Wherever I am, I'm kind of satisfied that this actually looks sufficiently like wherever the heck I finished about 6 months ago. It's like I'll turn around at any point when the video quality just gets kind of really bad. I won't do much video tomorrow because I'm going to a place I've been before, maybe a short clip or two of the waterfall that we go to, or something that if I ride the Oil Creek bike trail or something. But yeah, I'm trying to, given the amount of time that one has in their life and how behind I am on putting anything out, just get the best of the places I've not been, and explore the other places with an open mind and not be taking any pictures. Who knows what I might see. Just getting a tidbit nippy. Just tidbit nippy. There might be a creek down here, and if I go down to that creek, I for sure what's there. A lot of mushrooms this year. Seems like most of Pennsylvania had about 200%. I could be exaggerating, but it seems like it was at least that 200% of the annual precipitation. I know some areas in the eastern part of the state out by Scranton and Wilkes-Barre apparently got 20 inches of rain over 3 days at some point, because I guess some hurricane just dumped its load right over that part of Pennsylvania. But yeah, it's just been like every 2 to 3 days for pretty much all the summer and all the spring. We get insane amounts of rain, which I had seen that a few years ago when I was actually working and kind of like staying down in northern West Virginia quite a bit. But typically when you get from, say, like Morgantown to Pittsburgh or a little north of Pittsburgh, the annual precipitation drops considerably by at least 10 inches or something, and we were definitely getting every bit of what West Virginia was getting some years back and a lot more, much further north. And apparently, from what I heard, is the Midwest, places like Missouri and stuff, I guess, are experiencing a big drought. So as are the people out by the Colorado River, and we all know that that's becoming less and less of a viable, sustainable, I guess, water source for the people out there. Someone was saying a while back, oh, wouldn't it be nice if they could pump the water from here to there? It'd be expensive, but yeah, it's like there's actually too much water. People are always getting flooded every few days, it seems like, or they're closed parts of Pittsburgh down. Oh, the river's up again. It's interesting, kind of a little bit scary, but kind of interesting, I guess, to be around in this time of kind of climate upheaval, climate change. Just a lot of, I've read some old books and stories about like the Little Ice Age and different things from years back, and it's kind of like a lot of instability climatically and different kind of things going on with the weather, and they're just these like old fragments of stuff that's not real well documented, and now we have the ability to document things, with meteorological tools and personal experience, video and whatnot. It's just an interesting time to be around. We got over here, I'm not sure, that looks like an unnatural feature here because you got this ditch and then this rises up. This is going down a nice grade. It looks like at one point it might have been some kind of old road. I'm definitely hiking a lot slower than I'd like to. When I hit the road on the way back, of course I won't be recording, I'm just going to follow the road back to my car. I'll take the Tanbark Trail again. There's a part of me that questions whether I'm even on any trail at all. It's just one of those days. Oh Lord. This must go somewhere. Surely it does. There's a little stream coming out of the ground down there. And one of these days, hopefully one of these days I'll actually be able to work in a job that actually is meaningful and maybe be able to write a book or do something really creative like that, because getting to the point in life, at a certain point you just kind of gather enough stories, enough memories, enough adventures, enough photos that you kind of go back and look at that and it's like, yeah, I can remember everything in, spectacular detail. Which kind of brings into question whether or not there's really much of a point in taking some of these videos, because there was a certain joy in taking a set of pictures and just kind of describing them, but I never got too sophisticated with that. I used Facebook, and then Facebook got kind of cumbersome and goofy to use, and I just said, no, I'm done with that. Keep saying I need to start my own website or something. I think I can see the last remaining bits of a blazing orange sunset over there. Not sure. It's been a long, drawn-out sunset if it is. It would be nice if I got to a nice lookout or something right as the sun was going down. Probably not a bad place to end today's video. Okay, and I am still on the North Country Trail, so this is all valid if you're, you want to be sure that this is the North Country Trail. Comes in many shapes and forms. And there's a good part of Ohio where it's actually like state roads that are kind of busy with traffic sometimes. So yeah, my best recommendation for that is drive out to the Buckeye Trail and follow the North Country Trail roads. Or maybe consider taking your bike, but yeah, it'd be pretty boring to hike along state roads and just kind of not that much fun unless that's your thing and you really want to make sure that you hike every inch of it. Personally, I'll probably wait for them to build a trail. The first 12 miles or so going into Ohio out to like State Route 170 and Beaver Creek Park are very, very nice. And then I do believe that's the first time I've ever actually maxed out the 10-minute timeout on this camera. Apparently I'm pretty good at running my mouth. If it wasn't so slippery and wet, I'd probably move a lot faster, but it seems like every doggone time I come here, I spend an inordinate amount of time looking for things. And doggone it, if I don't always feel like I'm getting over a cold or something, or I'm getting a cold, or I just never feel completely exactly healthy anymore. I probably got some kind of anemia or something. I'm also a hypochondriac, so take that with a grain of salt. I guess the fact that I'm still here is a gift. Sure, the colors you're seeing now are getting a little bit wonky. It's definitely getting kind of dark. And this, actually, I haven't really fooled around now that I think about it with adjusting the color on here. I know with GoPro, because it had 8-bit color, I'm used to kind of working with those videos. If you do too many adjustments to the clarity, or the sharpness, or alter the colors, increase the intensity or the vibrance, you start to get a whole bunch of weird effects, and it doesn't look natural. But I think this might be 10-bit, or hopefully something better. There might be more color information in the video that I can actually sharpen, fix things up a bit without making it look weird. Deer up there, way up there. Nice big deer. .45. When I get to where I'm going, I'm going to take a picture because I think it'll geotag the location, and maybe I can match it up to something else and see where I actually went at some point if I so desire. That's another thing. It was kind of interesting. A little side project at work. I went on a trip out to see some work-related mines and different things in the eastern part of the state, and kind of during my lunch hour or whatever, I'm kind of taking looking for the locations, the latitudes and the longitudes, and kind of matching them up on different maps so I can label some of the pictures better. Not sure how many of those pictures, if any, will appear in my personal collections. Some of them were things that I did on the trip afterwards, so for sure those ones will be mine. Yeah, I guess they all are, really, because it was all done with this phone. Yeah, so this is on the Pro setting. This is the limit of what I can get, which is not so good. is the auto setting, which actually is better than you might expect it to be. Even still, the stuff is going to be grainy. Always running out of daylight. I'm not making so many of the 4-hour videos that I know nobody in the world has probably ever watched in their entirety, except for a trip I took to Harrisburg a few years ago. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have watched that in its entirety, and I have no idea why, but it must be pretty interesting. The Pennsylvania Turnpike is pretty interesting, I guess. Another one that got a lot of hits was North Country Trail hike I did a couple of years ago in the winter on Route 443 or something, whatever the last state route is in Pennsylvania before you hit New York, and I went south to Williamsburg and back. There was a little time-lapse bit there. Never did see that wonderful vista that promised the grand sunset. I guess it was gone by the time I got there. It never really went up that section of trail. This is just a slow going down. Down. When I first got this camera, this phone, every time I do a video, it was annoying as heck, but it would like blare out the light and kill all this battery, and now it's like, I wish that was still going on, but it's not doing that anymore. Yes, I had a GoPro with it gets up to like ISO 6400. I'd probably get about 5 more minutes of decent video. But yeah, we're kind of getting to the limit of daylight where most any attempt at doing any sort of outdoor video and capturing any kind of moving scene like this is not going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if one day it does, though, the way technology is. If they don't up with a camera that can, I don't know, shoot in what most of us would consider to be pitch dark and going 60 miles an hour at 60 frames per second and have it look clear as day. I'm sure that day is coming. Maybe the government or someone already has something like that for special purposes. But at least what's available to the mere peons is not quite there yet. Still, the stuff that is available on people's phones and their cameras today is more powerful than anything, unlike the supercomputers that were around in 1980 and back when I was a kid. Probably far better than stuff that was around in 1990 by orders of magnitude. I can't remember whose law that was. It was the law of like information and technology or something. It keeps doubling every so often. I think it's actually been proven wrong at this point. But for a while there was this kind of like exponential growth of data and stuff, and it probably saturated everyone's brains and started making them a little neurotic and some of them psychotic, and then maybe they're like, enough with that. I think we got enough things to distract us, more than enough. It's really hard the hardest thing these days is to parse out what's worth paying attention to and what isn't. And that goes for everyone, and honestly, I think I'm someone that has a little difficulty with that to begin with, so I get kind of taken down every rabbit hole there is. This is the sound of darkness. Now in darkness, my old friend, I stop and talk to you again. I like to hike well in the night to a place where darkness is so deep. Da, 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 da. In no way, shape, or form claiming to have any singing capability whatsoever. So, don't think that I'm so deranged that I actually think I sound like anything. I'm just a little goofy. It's like I've long ago accepted the fact that I'm weird, and now I'm just like, well, that's just the way it is. I'm weird. The rest of the world can take it or leave it. Creepy way, though. Okay, okay, I very, very well remember this section. There's a pipeline, yeah, this is matching up. There's all these little valleys, there's even a little creek right there. And some small trees. So, yeah, 6:57. So this movie will be coming to an end soon. Sorry it couldn't be longer, and sorry it couldn't be better, but if you want to see what this is like, the other part that I made before this, which at the time of this recording still isn't posted yet, so you won't be looking for it before this goes up, but that would have where I'm at now, probably. And I've never actually calculated all the hours of video footage that I put up. It's safe to say it's far more than, in a year or two than my dad did in all of our childhood by, I don't know, maybe 2 orders of magnitude or something. It's just the ability to shoot and save enormous quantities of whatever the heck you want is just crazy these days. And the darn thing is that the quality of this right now, kind of like in the dark, like with this light that's barely helping, was kind of as good as the really big camcorders that were like TV cameras that weighed 30 pounds and stuff were in the 80s. I mean, your 8mm film or your little tapes that weren't even VHS tapes back then. They were just these little magnetic tapes, and they were so grainy. It was terrible, and everyone's films were always inside back then. I mean, you wouldn't dare take that camera out for very long. I mean, because God knows you paid good money, and inside the lighting is typically terrible, even in the middle of the day, unless you're in some kind of like LEED Gold certified, building that just maximizes natural light. Yeah, even people's color perception is all is kind of useless in the inside of a building. I mean, when it's dark, it's like everything is dulled down. That's why I can't stand working in an office, because yeah, it's pretty torturous. I mean, really, my senses are just dull to the core. Like, I can see more outside. I can experience more. Like, my senses are 10 times more aware. So I doubt that anyone that knows me so well or that works with me or whatever will pick up my gripes and hopefully connect them in any sort of damaging way. I work where I work, I do what I do. Could be better, but I'm glad to have a job, I guess. What can I say? And today is Saturday, and the sun is down. And there's some awfully tall pine trees. Gotta make use of the 20,000 milliamp external battery that could probably power a small city for a few days. Stuff is just crazy that you can get now. I mean, it'll keep this thing going forever. So if you get a little more light and some more meaning, I mean, it may shrink on your screen, but I'm going to change this to vert. Better to see something that's maybe a little bit smaller, but has pretty much all the detail in a little more area than what you're going to see on a big, really blurry shot. Ooh, I've never been here. Hunter Station Shelter 11.5. Kellettville 6.2. Gosh, I don't think I was quite here. So this is new. So let's check this out here. Queen Creek Shelter. Interesting shelter to reach in the night. Alright, so at this point I'm darn well pretty sure I haven't got far to go, because it was 5 point something miles from that place, Kellettville, where I've hiked way too many times. And I did have to drive quite a ways from Kellettville to get here. Yeah, mostly on that one forest road. Sometimes these hikes actually are a little more enjoyable after it gets dark. As long as I'm not, like, just really lost and tired and don't want to be there. Especially this time of the year or whatever, when the days are so short and it's not like you're really out there that late anyway. A little different when it gets to be, say, midnight, 1 in the morning. Especially if you have to go to work the next day, but that hasn't happened to me yet, at least not recently. By the way, I do keep holy the Sabbath. I try to get to church on Sunday, and if not, I am on the trail. Yeah, it seems to work out a lot better when I'm doing what I should and looking where I'm going and looking to see how the video is turning out. Walk into a tree and take a bad movie. My mom made some chili at home. Can't wait to go home and taste it. I'm sure it'll be amazing. Nice cool day like today. Yeah, I'm like sort of thinking that I may be pulling out of my present job, sort of in a unplanned kind of way, but grateful nonetheless. We'll see what happens. I'd like to be able to put some money away and kind of do the decision on my own and not fall into the unemployment trap, but there's a lot of things going on. A 1.5 hour each way commute, or at least 1 hour, and it's just eating me alive. It's half of what I get paid for, and then of course, I'm making good money, so I gotta be, on top of it when I'm there, and I'm just exhausted from the drive to get there, and flat broke to begin with, and stressed out because I'm broke. This place is a mud hole. Basically, I cannot find the trail anywhere. That's a big one. I need to see if I did find it. Oh, they do a better job in the National Forest. I will say. They make it better for night hiking than anywhere else I've ever seen on the planet. It's only because they put these little bright blazes in addition to the blue blazes, because anyone that's ever hiked at night knows it doesn't matter how neon yellow or blue or bright your paint is. These little things, these little tacks, stand out so good. I can find my way a lot better than I can in the day sometimes when the markings are too faded. I wish more people would do that. I don't know how injurious it is to the tree, but it makes it way easier. We need to protect our trees and show them all the love that we can. These trees look like Dr. Seuss trees. They literally are like all trunk, and they got these poofy little tops that are like 100 feet in the air. That's kind of crazy. Wow. So now I'm starting to look a little rise here. Some deep valley in the deeply dissected high Appalachian Plateau region of northwest Pennsylvania. Sort of a, kind of, if you remove all the trees, the area probably looks a lot like the Grand Canyon in sort of a muted and toned down kind of way. All rivers and streams have cut through mostly flat-lying terrain over thousands of years to create all our wonderful hills and valleys. It's It's very different than the hills and valleys of central Pennsylvania, where you go into the valley and ridge. That's a tectonically folded and uplifted, thrusted series of mountain ridges that have deep valleys, and the ridges run for 50, 70, 100 miles, and they bend and turn with the fold of the Appalachian Mountains as a whole. And all the topography and all the streams run between the mountains. They're just kind of dendritic, and they go everywhere around here. Occasionally I like to just spot off some random geology as it applies to being outdoors. I can't stand the fact that I'm doing basically that and indoors. Like, I was born an outdoor person, I'll die an outdoor person, and every minute indoors is, 2 minutes off of my life, probably. 1 minute for being so doggone depressed and having to recover, and 1 minute because I'm not outdoors. This is definitely further than I thought I missed the last time, so yeah, it's kind of worth the effort, I guess. And it's not like you can really get anything out of that. And to diffuse the beam. Better to have the high beams on it. There's a lot of places up here that look and feel a lot like a lot of other places. At least as I kind of perceive things right now. At some point I may have more of a feel for every little hill and ridge back here, but doggone it, if this doesn't kind of remind me of some places in Emerald Creek State Park, and I definitely feel deja vu, but I'm not sure. I think I'm back to where I was before. I think I started coming down this ridge last time and then finally gave up. what happened to the nice little tree blazes? Maybe they just do that in open areas. In some places where there's rock areas and you climb through rocks, they do that. And just in case you ever want to go hiking through the rocks at night, and who would do that? Actually, I would, and I have, which is why I know how useful these little pin blazes are on some of the trees. Some years back, I went back to, wherever it was, Minister Creek Park, and hiked in there at night. That was very interesting. It was in the middle of winter. Temperature was about the same as it is now, but it was a warm spell, so there was this eerie fog that kind of settled in. A couple of hunters kind of walking around. I don't know if it was archery season or what it was. A lot of times when I'm hiking up here in the forest, I'm pretty much alone. I'm lucky if I see other hikers, unless I come with a group. Alright, I'm going to take a picture of basically nothing soon and call it the end. Sort of uneventful, didn't really get any particular signpost. Which makes me wonder, I probably stopped at our signpost last time, but I'm probably overlapping way too much to get there. Either way, the next hike will be nice because I won't be retracing my steps. See the moon up there? That's good that it's going to be kind of a moonlit night, at least a half moon, sliver moon, waxing crescent, or waning crescent, although I think it's in the waxing crescent stage right now. Going through some nice hemlock trees. And you gotta watch for the traps on the ground. Rotted pieces of wood and random things you can fall into. I always get a headache when I put this headlamp on at night too. It's like, I don't know if that gives other people a headache. It just gives me a crushing freaking headache. I think it used to do that, I don't think. Everything gives me a headache now. Try to get this up so you can sort of see, you know, the moon going through the trees, something that's worth looking at least. I got countless other videos where I've been hiking late into the night like this and randomly film stuff. It never got there, never picked it up. I'm considering it a good success if I get one reasonably decent film out a month. Try to put out 2 or 3 to catch up maybe without, you know, having a camera that's easy to reuse. So I'm at a juncture here, which I think I may be able to match up with where I was last time, and for sure know that there's been some overlap and had that. Your Allegheny National Forest time right now is 7:21 p.m. And yes, I have been here before, because this is 5.5 miles north of Route 443, which is probably 2.5 miles back. So isn't it wonderful?